This video is part of our study about similarities and differences in Latin America with a special focus in Cleantech, Healthtech, and education. What we do in Rubica, we promote brands that add value to the world. We use business intelligence to discover opportunities and insights for them. Hopefully you will find a lot of them in the following videos. And with that information, we help our clients adjust their products and services and co-create digital strategies with them. And then after that, we can go and execute in an agile way using all the diversity in digital media. So at the end, our clients end up increasing their sales and positioning in the region. Now we need to talk about language. So we all speak Spanish, right? The only way I know of calling this in English is popcorn. But what happens in different countries in the region? So for example, in Mexico, it's called palomitas. In Guatemala, poporopo. In Costa Rica, you're lucky because it's called palomitas again. But then in Colombia, crispetas or maíz pira, depending on the part in the country you are. Or cangul in Ecuador. Or canchita in Peru. Or cabritas, which means little goats in Chile. Or pochoclo in Argentina. So yes, we all speak Spanish, and I don't want to frighten you. We understand each other. But there are subtle differences. Sometimes those subtle differences can make a big difference when you are either negotiating or when you are creating messages for marketing and advertising campaigns. So it is very important to really understand the type of Spanish that is spoken, and if there is let's say a business or a formal Spanish that needs to be spoken. This also means that probably when you do business in Latin America, you do need to speak Spanish. Some of us speak English, but most of the conversations will always happen in Spanish, and we feel more comfortable talking in Spanish. That doesn't mean that you need to start speaking Spanish from the very beginning. You can run campaigns and you can have local representatives, but then at the end, it's really recommendable you either speak the language or have someone who speaks the language. Now, related to the languages as well, we created this representation to see the amount of people that speak indigenous languages. So what you see here in the big percentages is the amount of Spanish speakers in the whole region of the countries that we studied. So of course, Mexico, Argentina, Colombia are the three most populous countries, and this is where you find the most of the Spanish speakers. But check, for example, in Mexico, 6.5% of the population speak indigenous languages, or in Chile, 6.1%, and in Peru, 10.6%. Unfortunately, for example, for the case of Colombia, we don't have that number really with this clarity, because in these three countries, Mexico, Chile, and Peru, they are actually doing efforts for not losing these languages. They are actually teaching in schools. There are schools where education is given in these languages. So this relates actually with my previous video about the mothers, our cultural mothers, and how some countries and from time to time priorities shift for giving attention to them.